Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Vicky Jones, and in this session, we're going to discuss the tech you didn't know you needed. So, a little bit about myself. I'm the owner of Tracks and Cream Glamping. I've been running our award-winning glamping site for the last 8 years, and I've got over 15 years of hospitality experience, ranging from hotels to glamping. I'm also a ResNexus UK ambassador. ResNexus is the #1 glamping site software in the US, and I run it to use my glamping site. I absolutely love their innovative products and customer service. As an ambassador, I partner with them to provide education and industry knowledge throughout the hospitality community. I have got a lot to cover, and it's okay as if you think you're drinking from a fire hose. But the purpose of my presentation is to simplify to a point where you have actionable knowledge to get your property what it needs. So with that in mind, let's discover the tech you didn't know you'd need. I think there are 6 main areas that I recommend that you pay attention to. They are your website and Google Business Profile, social media, channel managers, including all the OTAs, direct bookings, your property management software, and we'll go over the other latest tech. It goes without saying that a website is critical to any business. As you continue to grow, your website will always continue to be the hub where your other marketing efforts are directed. It causes you to need a business email address, telephone, and also register with Google Business Centre. But one thing I didn't realise at first is that your website isn't just about the pretty side your guest sees. There's a whole lot involved behind the scenes. For example, how responsive your website is and how fast it loads affects your ranking, and Google is always changing their requirements. In addition, you also have organic and local SEO. Local SEO means that you're using keywords found in your local area, oftentimes the attractions. Then there is schema, which is how your website looks on a technical level to search engines like Google. It includes tags, other items that help Google determine what a web page is talking about. UTM connection stands for Urchin Tracking Module, which is a special section of code that you put in your website's URLs to track the visits to an individual page. These are then used in your Google Analytics and other search engine analytics. If you want to increase your customer base, then you might consider making your site more disability friendly. In the US, this is required by law, and Google looks at this as an SEO factor as well. Then don't forget third-party connections like social media, your booking engine, contact info, forms, etc. Talking about third-party connections, one of the most important is your Google Business Profile. Most guests try to find your property online, so make sure your basic information is available, such as link to your website, phone number, reviews, etc. In addition, like I mentioned before, Google does look for how accessible your website is. To check your score for any page on your website, you just need to search Google Lighthouse Chrome extension, add it and pin it to your toolbar. Go to the web page you want to check, click the Lighthouse button that has appeared and hit Analyze. Anything above 90, Google considers good. But if you want to be more sure and are serious about checking your accessibility, then you can go to AudioEye or UserWay. These are both companies that help you be more accessible with widgets and services. UserWay even has a free widget that you can use. Once installed or set up on your website, the UserWay app works by simply clicking on the widget icon, which you can see on the left of my webpage here, which then pops up a menu. Then the person with a disability can click and select among the options to help them better navigate your website. So when considering your website, something you should think about is that 70% of guests research their travel plans on their smartphones. So with that in mind, you should ask yourself, is your website built mobile first? Meaning the guest experience is built to consider the phone shopping experience. Is your website responsive? Does your content readjust well? We've all seen a website that looks terrible on mobile. Is your website on a secure server? Most are, but if you don't have an SSL certificate, then you need to get one. Does it load quickly? Is it disability friendly? Like I just mentioned, a simple solution is to use a widget service. Does it meet general data protection regulation guidelines? Do you have a newsletter or promotional sign-up form on your website? What company do you use to send emails? MailChimp, MailerLite? ResNexus does have it built in, so that saves me time and paying the monthly fee of MailChimp. A newsletter makes it easy to keep in touch and fill your availability with return visitors. Is there an attractions page? This is really good for your local SEO. This is what most blogs have turned into. We just don't call them blogs anymore. Is your attraction post or page findable on Google? What kind of email account are you using? Is it your personal email account or have you upgraded to a business email? And lastly, are your pictures pixelated or out of date? Do you have good content and easy to use call to actions? Can they book online through your website? One thing I learned is if it's been a couple of years since you refreshed your website, you probably should. This is what I've just done, and I went down the list that I just showed you to make sure I've got a really responsive, really lovely website. Sometimes it can be hard to find the time to do all the website work yourself, especially all the technical stuff. So you might want to look into finding a company that can help you. For me, I use ResNexus. They produced over 1,000 websites in just the past 5 years alone for multiple hospitality industries. The best part is that they do all the design and technical SEO work for you. So I found it was a good solution for me at this time and for my refresh. One thing I did find was that I put on my old website, I'd put geodesic dome, glamping in a geodesic dome all over my website. And what I hadn't thought about is the fact that people don't search geodesic dome. So they did a load of keyword research for me, which is what I really needed and suggested that I change all of it to glamping pod because people just search glamping pod with hot tub, which I really hadn't appreciated before I went through this process. Let's move on to social media, one of my favourite topics. So our social media story is pretty typical of most sites. Back in 2015, pretty much everyone was on Facebook, so we set up a Facebook account for Tracks on Cream, and then I had my own personal Instagram, which I ended up switching over to a business one, deleting all my photos and uploading ones to the site, as I knew most of my friends were following me, so it was a good way to get started. For the whole time I've been running the glamping site, the majority of our direct bookings come through word of mouth, Facebook, Instagram, social media in general. In the early days, we ran a couple of competitions to win a free stay, encouraging followers to like and share, and that's always given us some extra followers. We've also done some paid ads and boosting posts or specific targeted ad campaigns for parents of, like, we're family friendly, so we've done parents of all ages across the country, specifically targeting women between the ages of 30 and 50. I was pretty happy using Facebook and Instagram. I completely understood them and I enjoyed posting on them. Whereas when the likes of TikTok came about, I was a bit apprehensive. I didn't want to like TikTok. I really didn't want to use it and I'd heard bad things about it. But now I wish I'd got on TikTok sooner because the potential to grow your audience is huge. The problem is if you don't like a platform, you're not going to use it to the best of its ability. So that's why I've stuck with Facebook and Instagram. I have gone on TikTok now, but I'm just playing about with it. But that's generally where my audience hangs out is Facebook and Instagram. And it's what I understand. And with the world of Facebook groups now, like Instagram's great for the pretty pictures, but Facebook groups are so useful for marketing as they get a much bigger reach. In 2020, we started a YouTube channel and I absolutely loved it. And that's why it's grown bigger than any of our other platforms put together. I've just really enjoyed the vlogging side of it. And I've really enjoyed having something to look back on when we're older and the kids are older and the sort of crazy stuff that you get up to in this chapter of our lives running a glamping site. I think because I've enjoyed the platform, it's been easier to grow. When you don't put your heart and soul into a social media platform, it's much harder to grow it and less likely to impact your audience. So stick with one or two of them or get help from a social media manager for ones that you aren't so confident in. So with that being said, one thing I would leave you with is that social media is more of a long-term marketing strategy, meaning you water it every week and it builds until you get enough followers and viewers that share your content. Don't expect to be a star overnight, but these small, consistent efforts will grow and expand and reach. This is such a huge topic that I'm actually going to do a social media webinar next month. So please feel free to scan the QR code and then you can register for that social media webinar on the 20th of May. I will go back to it at the end if you want me to do that. And while you've got your phone out, we've also got a Facebook group for help and support for anybody in the hospitality industry. We've kind of niched down on outdoor, but anybody really can join this Facebook group. So do feel free to scan the QR code there as well, and it will take you through to the Facebook group, and I'll just allow you in it. So let's talk about channel manager technology. Some properties don't even start out with a website, and some properties still only use OTAs or online travel agencies to get online bookings. OTAs are great at introducing your property to new guests. In fact, in my opinion, it's one of the best ways to get found and get booked, especially by new guests. In regards to traffic, millions of people visit these sites every month. One of the best things about OTAs is that you only ever pay when they deliver results. The OTAs also generate the billboard effect, which we talked about in our last OTA webinar, which you can find, if you missed it, you can find it on resnexus.uk. We're going to put all these webinars onto our website so that you can watch them back in your own time. So Google finds that when someone is planning a vacation or travel, they follow this typical path. Often they've searched based on a place they want to go or by activities or things to do in the local area. Usually the top results on Google are OTAs like Expedia, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Airbnb, etc. The potential guest will identify some places that stand out to them but not necessarily book at that time. They want to talk to their partner, spouse or friend. They'll watch videos about what they're going to do to build excitement, escape the day-to-day. Then they will come back to the narrowed down choices and Google them to see their direct website, oftentimes comparing it to the OTAs. Finally, they'll complete the process by booking either directly or with an OTA. Did you know that Google has an additional search and a booking marketplace for the hospitality industry called Google Hotel Ads? This is one tech that I recently learned about. Let's see how it works in regards to hospitality businesses such as hotels or more recently glamping sites. Let's start with free booking links. So what is a Google free booking link? I mentioned before that the search behaviour is to use OTAs to find the destination and narrow down the final 2 to 3 accommodations where the guest is going to stay. So when people Google your property name directly, Google Hotel Ads provides your hotel's availability and rates via a free booking link, or you can pay for better placement. Then if a traveller clicks on your Google Hotel ad or free booking link, they're brought to Google Hotels landing page. And if they click on your Google free booking link, then the guest goes directly to your booking engine. In the end, Google Hotel Ads and the free booking link are simply another marketing tool or channel, and each of these marketing channels are competing for a booking. Google Hotel Ads also links to this kind of secret OTA or directory called Google Travel. Usually it's behind the scenes and Google doesn't directly advertise it. For instance, it won't come up on a Google search unless you search or Google Travel. I think this is because they want the advertising money from the OTAs. In any case, if you do go to google.com/travel, you'll find it. If you want to find a hotel, I simply click on the hotels tab, and then I can either enter a destination or click on a popular suggestion. I quite fancy going to Las Vegas. Then I'm brought to this map and the list of hotels, bed and breakfast and other lodging options. Again, if your business is connected to Google Hotel Ads or is using the free booking link, your property will show up here as well. So if I was to click on Caesars Palace, then I am brought to a page of Caesars Palace and I can see the direct link to the website followed by the OTAs competing with me. Or I can click on the check availability button and I'd be sent to another Google Hotel Ads page where I can go directly to the Caesars Palace website. But notice here that Caesars Palace appears in 2 different spots. The higher one is the search ads. Those are featured options which require you to bid or pay for the top 4 placement. And the second appears under the all options or organic search and is Google Hotels' free option called free booking links. Both will take you to the direct booking engine of the property. So what's the difference between Google Search Ads and Google Hotel Ads? They're both under the Google Ads umbrella. One is just for the tech search, another is lodging specific. So the Google Search Ads section in here is in pink. They're the paid ads that appear on the top of your search result. This is the traditional option we're all familiar with and are based off keywords. Google Hotel Ads are the blue section that appears on the right, which is called the Google Knowledge Panel, for a specific search for your property name. And like I just mentioned, also show up on the Google Hotel OTA section. In this example, the lodgers are using both Google Search Ads and Google Hotel Ads, and the Google free booking link shows up under View More Rates. The most significant difference between Google Hotel Ads and the other OTAs is that it isn't a booking engine. So it lets your small hotel or glamping site compete directly with the OTAs. For instance, if you look at this example of the official site price or book direct rates, $139. And if you look at Booking.com, Expedia, and all the others, they're charging $160. So that's 12 to 15% more than the direct booking rate. If you set up Google Hotel Ads and use free booking links correctly, then the OTAs have a hard time competing. And as the name suggests, Google doesn't charge commission for the free booking link that goes directly to your online booking engine. This competition increases your direct booking rate and reduces OTA expenses. That's why large hotel chains use Google Hotel Ads and free booking links to reduce the 18 to 30% commission fees paid to online travel agencies such as Booking.com, Airbnb, etc. Although Google Hotel Ads has a free booking link option available to anyone, in reality, unless you have a custom-built property management system with an online booking engine and a developer handy, your property will need a connection partner. And yes, ResNexus is an official Google Hotel Ads partner. Since I set up my Google free booking link last month, I've had 2 direct bookings through that link, which I was really surprised about. It just means that someone has looked up Traction and Cream and they've used that link to book and find my booking engine, which is great. It's just another way of them finding us. So after learning about OTAs and Google's free booking link, the next tech that you should clearly have is the ability to take direct bookings. Because even if a lot of your guests find you through an OTA, a majority of your guests will still want to book direct. So make sure you have a good looking website and an online booking engine. One of the simple things that provides a great guest experience is to show your guests what they're looking for, your units. You ever play the game Battleship or Wordle? June the 7th, June the 10th? No. Google research shows if you have nothing to show, then your guests will leave and most likely go somewhere else to book, usually back to the OTA. If you have no availability, what I like about ResNexus booking engine is that it takes out the guesswork by providing a calendar on the main page and by the individual unit. Along with not hiding the inventory, your booking engine should showcase your units with large pictures. ResNexus has larger pictures than almost any other booking system. Remember, this is your storefront. You want to make a great impression with good-looking photos. Like I mentioned before, the ResNexus calendar shows at a glance your future availability for the whole property. However, if you click on an individual unit or room, you see the availability for just that unit. Most guests have a flexible schedule of a week or 2, which means you can often convert them to a different date, which optimizes your occupancy. In addition, if your most popular unit is full, a guest can request to be put on the wait list. I love the wait list because it means I get the guest's email and I can usually convert them to another dome or date. The ResNexus booking engine also allows my property to make more with sidebars. We make additional revenue with firewood, s'mores kits, glamping mugs and Prosecco. This adds value and incentivizes the guests to book direct. One of my favourite things about our booking engine is that you can also shop by special offers. To my knowledge, no other system does this. It's completely unique. So say a guest wants to take advantage of our 7th night free special. The ResNexus booking engine will pull up a unique booking page that clearly lists the benefits and the requirements. In addition, it automatically makes sure the dates fulfill the requirements. In this case, 7 nights are required. You can always add more nights. Or you can select new dates. When the guest adjusts the dates, the ResNexus booking engine protects our property and makes a great shopping experience by not letting the guest go below the minimum requirements. Once the dates are selected, then the qualifying unit comes up and guests select the best one for them. Super easy. This prevents frustration for the guests. No one wants to get to the end of the booking process with all their credit card information, only to find an alert that says to start over because they don't meet the requirements. One thing I learned is that you sell more retail items if you show them after the guest selects a unit. I also like that if you've got third-party vendors such as tour guides or a local wine supplier, or like we provide massages as well, so I can also provide an email confirmation when their services are booked, and it means that I can email the vendor straight away when they add it on. Another capability you should look for in a booking engine is built-in cart abandonment, which means if they enter their name and email and phone number, but they get interrupted, the guest will automatically get an email reminder to finish their booking. There's a ResNexus client in Homer, Alaska that has made hundreds of dollars without having to lift a finger because of this feature. If your booking engine has cart abandonment, you can often send multiple emails. Usually you have your system send two. The first one is a simple same-day reminder. The second might go out after a couple of days and have some sort of additional incentive like 10% off or something like that. You can also get your book engine to collect their arrival time and special needs. Unique to ResNexus is it also collects birthday and anniversary dates. I find that about 70% of the time the guest will put it in. Then ResNexus automatically sends promotional emails around those dates if they've opted in to receive marketing emails. Another important detail that many booking engines overlook is your policies. Most hide them under a link. What I like about ResNexus is that the policies are its own step, and I can highlight my most important details at the top. I can also get an auto-filled digital signature for my guests, which makes it easier to win credit card chargeback disputes. And lastly, make sure that you can take online payments. This is super convenient for the guest and saves everyone a phone call. And to take direct bookings, you need a property management software that makes it easy to manage all your bookings in one place, whether it be direct online booking over the phone or through an OTA like Booking.com or Airbnb. So let's take a look at some good property management features to have. First and foremost, you want your property management software to let you see all your reservation sources in one calendar or grid, such as the online, over the phone, OTA, and more at a glance. What I like about ResNexus is that it has a nice hover over state. But the most important thing is that your property management software lets you see potential reservations happening in real time from your direct booking engine. So if somebody phones me up and says that they want Deodome on those dates, I know that someone's looking online, so I'm not going to get a double booking. Another nice thing to have, because they sneak up on you, is for your calendar to show your bank holidays, especially for over the phone bookings. I also like using filtering options. ResNexus lets you quickly highlight by OTA or status, such as checked in or bookings of retail items attached. For example, when I click on this Airbnb button, I've gone too far, it will only highlight the bookings from Airbnb. It also lets you see retail and guest summaries for a time period. For example, all retailers' items sold for the day, as well as the guests on the property. ResNexus has a grid view, which provides an even longer and quicker snapshot of your property's activities. This is especially useful for higher unit properties. Another thing that's nice for your property management software to have is a guest portal. This allows your property to save time by allowing your guests to scan a QR code or click a link on their welcome email. They can check in and go right to the unit, make payments, add retail items and more. Plus, it's great for properties that have late arrivals and you're already in bed. Another great time saver is if your property management system can message your OTA guests from the system. With ResNexus, you can do that through Airbnb, with other messaging coming soon for Vrbo, Expedia, and Booking.com. In addition, you can set the system to review your guests automatically with a set message. The reason this is important is because the more guests you review on Airbnb, the higher your ranking. You can still leave a more custom review for those amazing guests or the troublemakers by logging into Airbnb directly, but this just saves a load of time. But one of the most important functions is if your system can handle automatic email communications and marketing. Did you know that the average email open rate is between 20 to 30%. A study from the Data and Marketing Association found that the average return on investment is £32 for every pound spent. And that makes sense because the price point for sending emails is incredibly low compared to other mediums. Even if the open rate is very low and the response rate's much lower, that's still bringing in additional business you wouldn't otherwise have had. And you can improve the response rate by providing value in the form of special offers and promotions at strategic times. And yes, I'm talking about birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays again. And like I showed you before, ResNexus does all that automatically. But another important way to use email marketing is with the OTAs. OTAs are great for getting your new guest, but they're not great at getting that same guest again. Why? Again, guests use OTAs to explore a new area that they haven't been before. So once your guest has booked and stayed with you, the way to increase your return guest rate is to email market directly to them in the future. I recommend collecting their birthday and anniversary date and then email marketing them on those dates with other important occasions. At the end of the day, it's really important that your business owns the guest information, not the OTA. But you can also assign your guests to interest groups and then email them directly throughout the year. The best part with ResNexus is that they set up the emails for you if you need them to. Another core functionality is to have automated revenue management. Now, I don't use all of these. I'm trying some things out, but according to ResNexus, most properties use their property management software to automatically have higher rates on the weekend and adjust the rates higher or lower based on holidays or seasons. You're probably thinking I'm crazy for not doing that at the moment, but we are thinking about it. Your property management system should be able to handle minimum nights. I do that. This is a great pricing strategy because you earn more revenue by separating the guests that are willing to stay longer and pay more during a peak time or season. It also helps reduce the amount of maintenance for the units. ResNexus also allows you to do smart minimum nights, which means that your minimum night requirement automatically drops if some of the sites go unsold by a set date. For example, instead of requiring 4 nights, it will drop down to 3 or 2 or whatever you decide. And during your slower seasons, you might want to set up sliding rates to encourage longer stays, similar to minimum nights, but adds in a discount incentive. So, for example, book 2 nights and get the third 50% off, or you saw me do that for my 6 nights, get the 7th night free. And lastly, you can set rules to increase or decrease the price of your units based on the occupancy rate. For example, if someone booked during my peak season and I'm already over 70% occupied, then the system could automatically raise the rates by 10% or £10. The same is true if I have a low occupancy rate, say 20%, I could have the system lower my base rate automatically by 10% or £10 to encourage more bookings. Airlines and hotel chains use these tactics a lot. I just don't know if I'm quite ready yet. However, from what I'm hearing from ResNexus, many properties use these rules to make thousands of extra dollars every year. Another important capability is fractional bookings. Fractional bookings save time by having a unit book in tandem with another. For example, you might have an RV site that also includes a tent site, or a wedding package that includes all your units with a pavilion. In addition, you can also use fractional booking settings to create a block the day before a guest arrival and the departure date to allow for cleaning time if you need it. Another thing to consider are your deposit rules. Some properties make very specific deposit rules and a lot of them. ResNexus is one of the systems that can handle that. So you can make scheduled deposit rules that include factors such as days before arrival, including taxes and gift certificates, length of stay, and loads more. I would also recommend you find a property management software that provides you with the reports you need. I particularly like PACE reports. It just gives you a really good overview of year on year. And last but not least, when thinking about your tech stack for your property management company, think about their customer service as well. Do they answer the phone? Are they email or chat only? It really makes a difference when you're in a bind or you need advice. We're more than a software company, we're a customer service first company. So lastly, let's go over some of the other tech that has come out recently. One that I find most useful is travel protection for illness and travel delay. Because of the pandemic, the guest mindset has shifted dramatically in regards to cancellation. Many now expect it to be a standard feature. The OTAs have even adjusted to let guests search by flexible cancellation. The best part is that ResNexus can offer this service and the guest pays the cost. So when the guest selects this option on my booking engine, and then they have to cancel for one of the protected reasons listed in the terms and conditions, then both the guest and I get a refund. The reimbursement service is like the optional limited warranty plans customers can purchase when buying a television or smartphone, except for instead of an electronic device, it protects the guest's travel plans from unexpected illness, health condition, or travel delay. More recently, you can also cancel for any reason. If you'd like to find out more about ResNexus Travel Protection and their service administrator worry-free bookings and how they work, you can visit resnexus.uk/travel protection or worryfreebookings.com. If you want even more contactless guest entry, then Wi-Fi door locks is also gaining in popularity. These locks integrate with your property management system to automatically provide the code during your guest stay, and the code will expire when you leave. I'm about to try that out on a dome. I didn't think that we'd be able to have Wi-Fi door locks on a dome because it's outside, but they do have IP rated door locks. So we're going to try those out and I can report back to anybody who is interested in it. Another recent trend is obviously using AI. And one of the most practical and time-saving uses of AI is the chatbots like Ask Suite, or you can even get AI phone answering services. In this example, the AI chatbot can understand questions like, what time can I check in? And provide an answer in less than 2 seconds. It can also help book the room or unit. These tools can help supplement your ability to answer questions quickly or cover times when no staff is on site or available, which can help improve your customer service. I also know one of my good friends who has a treehouse has created his own ChatGPT bot that his guests can use to frequently ask questions, and then he doesn't have to get involved. They can just ask it automatically. One of my favourite innovations from ResNexus is how they handle group bookings. So their group reservations save time, they keep track of the group details, and it expires unused units automatically. In essence, it makes birthdays, weddings, and events a breeze. You can assign an event coordinator, you can control the rate for the group, you can send out a booking link with all the rooms blocked for that group, and then you can collect the payment from each guest individually. So with my old booking system, I used to have to take everybody's details individually, then I would have to go on and book it out for them because I'd already blocked out the whole weekend to make sure nobody else booked it, and then send emails back and forth. It was a nightmare. Whereas now I give them one link, I give the organizer one link, and then they can send that out to their group on their group WhatsApp chat, and then they can all go and individually book, put all their details in, put their credit card details in, and I don't have to do anything. So it really reduces the back and forth phone calls and texts. Other tech you might want to consider, and one of the most requested integrations, are revenue management companies like Price Labs and Room Price Genie. So we've got an integration with both of those now, and they scrape all of the Airbnb and local competitors' data, and it will update your rates daily. And they're also a European-based company as well, which is good. And the last thing to quickly touch on is that ResNexus has recently brought out Book Anything. So if you have any services that rent out on an hourly or over a 10-minute basis, ResNexus have Book Anything. So maybe you have a gazebo that you rent out for weddings for an afternoon that's not related to a room, or you provide activities like kayaking. You can do these through Book Anything. Some of our properties in the UK are using it for afternoon teas, bread making courses, bike rental, sauna rental. You can even do it for hot tubs if you have a hot tub that you move around, and alpaca tracking as well. So it is really great for generating additional revenue. For example, we've got a pizza oven on site and I was just letting guests use it. Whereas this year I am doing a package on Book Anything where they can hire the pizza oven and the pellets and whatever they need, everything they need for the pizza oven. And then I'm making that revenue that before I was just giving away because I didn't have a facility to do it. So I'm really excited about Book Anything for this year. And that is all I have for you today. I really appreciate your time. I would welcome any questions. You're always welcome to give me a call, email me if you have any questions, or I will have a look and see if anybody has any questions. Let me stop my screen sharing. So I have a question from Sean, who I was actually talking about, who has the amazing treehouse. The deposit page mentions dollar amount instead of localized British pounds. Is this what UK hosts will also see? So there's a few little bits where in the back office where we still see dollars, which we are working on. I'm just going to move my camera up here. So normally on the everything the guest sees is all in pounds. So the guest doesn't see any dollar amounts. We've just got the odd dollar amount on our back office, but we're working. So I'm going through with the dev team to work out what's saying dollars, and it will all be changed to pounds. So we should see everything should be pounds. So hopefully that answered your question, Sean. But if there are no other questions, and I know this is a really busy time of year for people because we're in kind of changeover season and it's all got super busy, especially for me. So yeah, I really appreciate your time, taking your time out to listen. And if there are no other questions, then hopefully we will see you on the next webinar, which is all about social media. But obviously, if you have any questions in the meantime, you're more than welcome to email me, vjones@resnexus.uk. And yes, we will hopefully see you on the next webinar. Thank you very much, everybody.